all that stuff. But if you have money and you say, I don't want dark skinned black women, it's a problem.
Well, there's no problem. First of all, let's address this whole thing when it comes to Chris Brown dating outside his race. Don't nobody care that Chris Brown dated outside his race. My problem isn't Chris Brown's preference. It's how he chooses to treat those women as a regards to his preference. So if me as a Negro woman say I prefer dark-skinned, tall men with chiseled jaws and a nice body, right? And I say that that's my preference. And I'm an artist. You think I'm going to kick out all the light-skinned men and say y'all can't come? Do Negro women do that? Do we, when we have a preference, if we prefer dark-skinned men or light-skinned men, do we now say, all right, well, I prefer a light-skinned man. I don't like dark-skinned men. Do we kick those dark-skinned men to the curb and say, well, you can't come to my party? When we throw parties, do we exclude people? No, we do not. That's the difference between Chris Brown and a Negro woman who has a preference, is that we don't ostracize the people that we don't prefer. We just don't date them. You see it in our everyday life. We walk the walk and talk the talk. Chris Brown didn't have to ostracize those women at his party. You were making a bold choice to say that, oh, because I don't date somebody. I don't even know the word for it, because that's not the word I was looking for. But it was so disgusting that you decided, just because you weren't dating darker skinned women, to decide to put them down and say, oh, I don't date them, so because I don't date them, I don't want them all in general in my space. That is different. What you did right there was oppress somebody. That's ostracizing someone. That's completely different from not having a preference. If I prefer the light skin or dark skin man, that's just what I prefer. That's who you're going to see by my side. But you're never going to see me say, ooh, I'm throwing this party, but all light skinned men, they can't come in because I don't prefer to date them. Like he going to date every woman he's at the party with. That's the difference. For all the silly men in the back that don't understand why women are offended, wasn't that he didn't choose them, it's that he ostracized them.
Whatever they want. And that's the issue. Black women want the ability to tell men.
No, we do not. That's your opinion. Don't put your opinion on somebody else. Black women never wanted anything. When do we tell men anything? If we do not desire you, we just don't date you. That's just as simple as that. That is why y'all be like, black women don't tell you a damn thing. They don't tell you nothing. They definitely don't tell you to rate yourself from a scale of 1 to 10, like a lot of y'all toxic men be doing. That's not, if you find that a woman is unattractive and you deem her not supposed to have love because she either fat or have children, then don't date them. But don't try to disenfranchise her to not have somebody who will date her. That's all I'm saying. Because it seemed like you hating.
You can't ask for nothing.
That's a lie.
We can ask for everything.
That's a lie. And I can't wait for that woman to piggyback off of that and clear that up.
Women, that what they want is to.
Because that's not true.
Whatever out of it, right? At what point is it appropriate for a man
to always? Nobody ever told a man he can't want what he wants. He don't got to put me down to want it.
Breaking my standard.
I think it's a misconception that men don't get what they want. If anything, it's women who typically settle. Do you get it? Men tend to get what they want. Men don't date potential. Women do. Men
that's
want
right.
This, they want that, and they go for it.
And that's right. Like men be like, oh, I don't want a fat woman. I never seen a man date a fat woman and potentially know that, to look at her, see her so beautiful and be like, she fat but she pretty. Let me date her and she potentially will lose weight. I've never seen a man do that. What do most men do? They go after what they want. So shut up. It's us women who will be like, yeah, he fat, but you know, he don't got a lot of money, but he act like this. We settle more than y'all.
Want what you want, but now
that's how so many
only feels the need to tell women that what they want is too much.
That's
no
right.
one sits down and tells these like, nah, she's out of your league.
No,
they're like, dude, like you're entitled to this. But as a woman, society feels like they have to tell me, oh, you can't get this.
You weigh too much. You can't get no high value, man. Who said?
But the point is, like, my thing with you said the stats about the single parents thing. So I love these conversations where people like bring stats out
random
statistically
random ass stats random stats. They pull them out they ass. Statistics shows. And I be like, yo, you know who makes statistics? And then they get mad because I say that. I'll be like, but you have to understand. If you don't understand how statistics are made, statistics are political. These are political things. If you don't understand the reasoning behind the politics of these statistics, then you don't know what the you talking about. Because a lot of these statistics that you are quoting are statistics to bring down your people. That's why you don't even understand what you're talking about. You thinking because it favors you and puts you in a light that it's a statistic to prove a point that is not proven. Because let her finish.
The most present fathers in the states of single parents households, right? So to understand stats, you have to understand how they're made.
Amen.
So that thing of black women being single parents is because, yes, black people in the states have typically had kids out of wedlock.
That,
Does not mean the fathers are absent.
Bam.
So when you read the stats, you assume that the dad is not present.
That's
but
right.
Statistically,
He
white men
is.
are not there for their kids.
White men are not. In the stats, white men are not present for their children. And let me explain that. In the stats, a lot of white men are the creators of these statistics. But in these statistics, what nobody tells you is that when a white man leaves his family, he leaves them indeed. He is not in their life. He do not try to be in their life. He do not try to get to know the children. He leaves completely. So while he's sitting there telling Negro women, oh, y'all ain't got no man. First of all, you don't know what anybody got in their house, first and foremost, so shut your mouth. Yes, there are a lot of children born out of wedlock, but that doesn't mean that the fathers are not present taking care of their children. And that also doesn't mean they don't have a stepfather that's currently in their house taking care of them. So this is what nobody's breaking down. These are the statistics that nobody's talking about. People just want to paint this illusion that Negro women so undesirable, they can't even get no man to stay in their house, when that's false. And a lot of Negro women, whether it's in situationship or relationships, or have a man in their house providing or taking or contributing in some form of fashion with their children. It is not all these women just out here single. Is there some single women with no men? Yes. Just like there's some single white women, Asian women, Hispanic women with no men. We all know we've met it all. So how we sitting around here trying to act like it's just a Negro woman thing? Make it make sense. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the video. I wish I knew how to fix it so you guys could see my reaction. I don't know how to do it.
Kids, right?
No. I didn't say that. I said that women are single mothers mean they don't have a husband. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, well, we get that.
But there are different types of families, right? So you have the nuclear family where everyone's present. I think it's like a lone parent family or something, where it's like one parent's in the house but they share custody. So typically in the States and in the UK, fathers are present. I feel like that's a misconception, and I feel like it's
I believe it too.
anti-blackness in itself to sit there and I feel like a lot of the time we're doing
I like what she said.
White man's work in saying, oh, black men are not present for their kids.
Amen.
Black single mothers, statistically, white women do not have present fathers for their kids.
Bam!
So why aren't we telling them to
lower their standards? Bam! Bam, cats out of the bag. White women don't have men in their life. White women. And they give you paint this illusion that white women are all married and got fathers at home. That's a lie. It's a lie. And the more we feed into the lies they tell, the more separate Negro men and women get. The whole reason for this video that I'm making is to make you understand that what you're being fed is a lie. And Kevin Samuels is the most toxic thing that has ever happened to Negro men. He toxic. His message was trash. I don't think that a man should ever mind a woman's business when it comes. No man need to reality check no woman. Who she feel like she can get. If it's not evident, then it won't be in her life. Hating girls tell another woman she can't get a man. Why should a man do that? That's feminine. You a man, mind your business. Don't worry about who in somebody else's bed. Mind your business. You a man, live up to that. Who in your bed is what matter, not who in somebody else's. So if that fat woman or that baby mama can't get no man, then it'll be evident in her life. But if she got a man, then it is evident that what you are saying is bull. You get me? Mind your business. Stop trying to control the beds of other men so that it can be what you want it to be. So you can disenfranchise somebody because you feel disenfranchised, because you feel like it's not in your favor to get the women that you desire. So now somebody else must pay for what the insecurities that you have. Realize that that's what you're doing. Period.
Do you see what I mean? And
But we're not
also,
talking
I
about
have a
white women.
question.
But
I
we
have a
are
question.
though. But we
What
are
is
though.
yours?
See how you completely, we're not talking, but we are though. We're talking about statistic and single parenthood, so it was relevant. His only thing, because he had nothing. We ain't talking about women. And this is also the silliness. You want to hear what you want to hear, and it got to be what you got to be. What she said was facts. It aligned right up with the conversation.
With single mothers, I want to know, because I wish this energy was reserved for the absentee fathers. Yeah, but
Exactly.
you never hear those conversations every day. Single mom, like, free me.
Well, because
Well,
single
please tell.
moms, I don't have a particular issue with single moms
No, not you. I mean, like on
In
the
general.
internet in general. Yeah.
in general. I mean, like, okay, let's just break this.
Because you want to know what the problem is? White men didn't like that Negro women can endure and still raise children, that some may fall astray, but some will become successful. He wanted her to completely destroy her family, and the fact that she didn't, he's like, all right, well, we gotta do something to these single women, because they're bringing into these children head crushers still, and we gotta do something. So we gotta disenfranchise them in some type of way.
richest areas
My
to come
opinion.
Kolala,
from. One,
right?
No,
Bugalobi.
no, we ain't from them societies.
Yeah.
We'll take it
Three.
in this with a grain of salt.
4. Come on. In Chira, there's a Chira County. Wakiza's.
He's making a point.
5. How many people that are single parents live there in rural communities? There?
I know some of the most powerful people in this country that were raised just by their mothers.
Amen.
Some. How many are some in the percentage? But it's less than 50 for sure, right?
There's no
We
statistic.
don't have stats to
But we
verify that.
but we know that most people that live where Kololo, Bugalobi, where
He talking about somewhere in
the
Africa.
10
I
richest
think.
people in this country are married, right? The president is married. These
I'm
MPs
gonna
are
let him
married,
make his point.
and they don't live by single parents.
But marriage and
But people don't, and this is what I wanted to talk about too. People act like single women, single mothers went into every relationship or every situation saying, "Yep, I can't wait to be a single mom." Your gripe with single mothers come from a white man. Do you understand me? And this goes out to all black men, and I'm speaking directly to you. Your problem with fat women and single mothers have all to do with white men. Understand when you are being brainwashed, because prior then, Madam C.J. Walker was a heavyset woman, and she was wealthy and successful, and she was married twice. Oprah Winfrey wasn't exactly a Barbie doll, and she was married. Do you understand me? So the problem has absolutely nothing to do with weight and having children. The problem is now the way you look at it as a regards from white man's goggles that he placed on your eyes so that he can destroy your community so that you don't love your women. If you cannot see that this is an attack on the Negro family yet again, you are out of your minds. And that's the problem. Quite many of y'all are out your mind. Trying to keep up with the white man all the time to the point where you take on his ideology. And most white men don't even like women, because a lot of them gay. I said most. So this idea that these Negro women do not like to be married, independent women were a byproduct to a situation unforeseen in the Negro community. We did not know that the government was concocting a plan to take men out of our homes, whether it be via welfare, via war, via mass incarceration and drugs. We didn't know. We learned at the same time you learned it. We could not foreshadow or foresee it. So we could not lay back and let our children die, so we had to be independent and take care of the children. It was not a rebuttal to get at Negro men. It was survival skills. Understand that. Also, what else? no Negro woman ever not wanted a man. Some of these women say they don't want men because they have given up hope, not because they don't want them. They say that, oh, I'm gonna this, that, and the third. They just talking junk. They heart broke. They had hope deferred. They hoped that they could get a Negro man that would treat them well. But when it didn't happen, the hope was deferred, and they turned around and they felt bad, and now they spewing toxic BS. Right? Not saying not to call somebody on their BS, but understand why it's happening. That's the number 2. And baby mamas are never stepping into any. I'm not a baby mama, so don't think because I'm making this video that this stuff tied to me. That's one thing people think. I do not have any children at all. I don't. So what I want people to understand is most baby mamas, they're not baby mamas out of, oh, I'm getting pregnant, I'm a be. They're not celebrating being baby mamas. That's a lie. So that's the biggest lie. These women are just saying this is my circumstance because it takes a strong person to say I had a baby accidentally and I'm going. It's not for the faint of heart, and I'm gonna take care of that baby. Yeah, I took a look and it kept on ticking. That takes strength and resilience for you to be put in a situation untimely like that and still come out victorious and raise that child. That takes a lot of strength and it takes a lot of courage. These women are not cowards. The men that back out of these relationships, back out of those children, those are the cowards, not the women that stay. So please stop talking about these women that stay in their children's lives. Even if they couldn't give them everything, even if they didn't have the most money, they still stay and they endure it. That took courage. So if anything, you should be bigging those women up, that these children are not dying. You know, some of these children that got both parents in their life be getting abused by both parents and dying. Look at those women raise those children and they come out victorious. Maybe they not everybody come out great, but that can happen even if you got two parents, because it's the moral character of the parents that raise the child that make the child turn out right. But sometimes if Satan is in the home, the child will turn out wrong. Period. You know, I'm not saying that women should be single mothers. They shouldn't. I'm not saying it should be done. But if it happens, yes, she made a mistake. Could she have made a mistaken judgment of the man that she had a baby with? Yes, anybody. The men make mistaken judgment on the women that they choose. So we can't just blame everything on the woman and leave the man's hands clean. This is the problem that I have when it comes to talking about baby mamas, is they act like those women got themselves pregnant and just chose a man from a lineup and said, you the father. No, you men are getting these women pregnant. Stop playing. So these baby mamas are not being created out of women saying that they don't want a husband. They're getting created out of women wanting or getting into situations with men, assuming that these men or these men making them believe that it's going to be more than what it is. Right? Because men all give themselves away. Men don't pretend to be wealthy men to all the time to get women. They pretend to be good men. Right? If we were gold diggers, then there would be no why you pretending to be a good man. You're not pretending always. Not every man is pretending to be a rich man. They're pretending to be good guys. They're pretending to be the guys who are not toxic. You know what I mean? So cut it out. You know what I'm not here to bash men either. I'm just wanting you to see a perspective that men have not been told before. Not that y'all deadbeats. I don't believe all Negro men are deadbeats.
Specific areas in London, go. We can do this anywhere in the world and it makes sense.
You're trying to say that marriage does like
wherever single parents are, okay, there is crime.
That's BS. In white neighborhoods, well, then again, they'll be fatherless. You have to understand that crime can happen anywhere. You know, we can't pinpoint with accuracy whether or not, because in prison, the prison is lined with children who were raised by two parents and children who were raised by one parent and children who were completely raised by absent parents. So there's no statistic proving that. So stop saying that matter of factly like you got some magic showing. You don't know that. You don't know that. And if you do have a statistic, please show me where you did the statistic. I never see where these statistics are being conducted. You hear about them, but you never see where they're being. They were in Cambridge College. Why in Cambridge College? All those people in college are single, most of them. So why are we doing studies in colleges? Why are we not out in the field asking actual homes and doing the statistics from there? Just saying. But anywho, You can't pinpoint with accuracy of having a single mother is what produced crime. I think what produced crimes is the music, society's acceptance of crime. I think that's what build crime. I think what really makes criminals is this idea of this secular music that tells children it's all right to go out there and kill somebody. It's all right if somebody crossed you in the wrong way. Somebody talk about your shoes. These movies, these toxic movies, school shootings, it promotes it. It's propaganda, if you ask me. It's propaganda. We all know how commercials work. Every time you see one little child, you see some vigilante or some child go out and shoot a school up, and it's advertised everywhere. I feel like it just opens up a floodgate because they're not prosecuted, especially when they're white kids and they're not prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I feel like in a way they're celebrated, and it makes children think that that's behavior that they should continuing. Like even in some of the movies, bullying is now a criminal offense. But if you think about it, all the popular kids who look good are bullies, and all the kids that are not bullies and are different, they make them less attractive, less appealing to everybody. But yeah, they got the underdog. But it's giving this idea that if you're pretty and attractive in any type of way, that you're a bully, nasty, have a nasty attitude. It's promoted highly in society. And until you change that dynamic, the crime rate is the reason for that. A lot of these negative behaviors in society is celebrated, whether you think about, look at rap music and rap culture. To call a woman the B word and to talk about hoes all day and mistreating them and fighting and shooting, rappers are putting that to they're putting, even doing drugs, they're putting a limelight of that lifestyle. They're saying that this is the lifestyle that these children should adhere to. So these children are glorifying bad behavior, and then you're trying to say it's because they're being raised by a single mother. No, what people need to understand is, if in fact it is a single mother raising them, she may not always have the ability, because she's probably working, to turn off everything that the child is watching. So let's really hash that conversation out instead of making such a blank statement like that, because I know children raised in 2-family homes that are killers, serial killers at that. Look at Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was in a house full of two parents, and two seemingly to loving parents. Look at that man, I forgot, Mulder, I can't say his name, who shot and killed his wife and the white man that shot and killed his wife and his son. He was brought up in a long line of wealth, and he had a 2-parent home. And look what the crime he committed. So there ain't no proof that being a single mother equates to crime. I think it's how white people, no disrespect to white people, this ain't even a blame on you, but this is just the society that you have created for Negro people that I am addressing. It is the way they make you see your life. They make you, first of all, there were single mothers children being raised in single family homes even in the 60s and 70s, and this is during the time of the Black Panthers and Martin Luther King, and you saw the same. You saw some crime rate, and you saw some unity and sticking togetherness. So that can't possibly be it, because single mothers have been around for quite some time. There ain't nothing new under the sun, and these children did not turn out like criminals just because they were raised by single parents. It's because of the influence from social media and other outlets that are other exposures, such as having criminal drug lords sitting up the block, rapists sitting up the block, influencing the mind of the youth, things like that. So this is what's happening. This ain't got nothing to do with single parenthood. It has more to do with the influence that's being pushed and peddled into our community than anything. Because I bet your bottom dollar, if we took a circumstance where we put single parents into a household and raise those children up and watch them be with a single mother who actually work and does her part and raise children, and see how many of those children turn out to be criminals, 5 times out of 10, that's not the case. If they had and I'm saying in the circumstance where they had no other outside influence, such as rap music, such as some of these TV show networks where they, Basketball Wives, Housewives, all that crazy, silly stuff. Atlanta, I don't know, Power and all that crap. If that stuff wasn't being pushed and peddled into our communities, would our men and women be the way they are? And the answer is no. Even with having single parents, which have been, it was for quite some time we had single parents and the children did not turn out to be criminals. It was their surrounding and the influence around them when the drugs started being pushed into the community, and you had men trying to they didn't want to see their mother struggle anymore. Their fathers wasn't in the home, so they said, my mother's not going to struggle anymore. Like, prime example, I'm going to use Biggie Smalls because people they know who he is. For an example, he didn't want to struggle anymore. He even wrote about his struggles and not having enough money. So he started peddling drugs, pushing drugs. Why? So that he could live a better lifestyle, not just for him, but for his mother. He wanted to see them do better. And he could have went another way. He didn't have to be a drug dealer. These are choices that men made, but they were choices that were put into our community through white supremacy. This was forced upon our community after taking the equity and the finances out of our community, taking the jobs. That's why affirmative action was created. So when you start breaking down all the reasons for why drug dealing began and why the certain circumstances happen in our community, it has a lot to do with white society. So before we start blaming single mothers, we need to fully hash this out and look at this. Stop making blanket statements, because all this is white supremacy at its finest, trying to make you blame the women who help you men survive to get into this life. It may not have been the best life in the world, but you know what? There are people raised with two parents. Like my mother talk about this a lot when we have conversation. There was a baby called Baby Brianna, and she's just an example. Baby Brianna was raised with two parents, and she's a Hispanic baby. She was like Mexican. But the reason why I'm telling this story is she was raised with both her parents. Though they were young, they were still both her parents. She was even raised with both her parents, her grandparents, and her uncles in that home. That baby died a horrific death by the hands of both of her parents. Do you understand that just because you got two parents, if you got two bad parents, then it's just as bad as having one parent, one bad parent, because one good parent can raise you up very well. And some of y'all men, Negro men especially, need to acknowledge where your parents may not could give you Jordans, may not could give you the best name brand clothes, may not even had food every single day, but tried their hardest to make sure you ate, had clothes, and that you were loved. She may not always know how to say I love you, but she showed it in the way that she fought for you, to feed you. My mother walked miles to feed us. When my mother may have not always been like I love you, and she might even been hard sometimes, but my mother showed through her, and that's why I take care of my mother. She get on my nerves, but I take care of my mother because even though and I have scars from my childhood and things that I get mad at my mother about, but at the end of the day, the reason how I knew without a shadow of a doubt she loved me is because of the effort she put in to protect and provide for her children. And my mother was a single mother with 7 kids, and none of us were serial killers. We broke the law because we wanted to. We did little silly things as children because we wanted to. It had nothing to do. My mother was a woman who struggled. My mother never stole from anybody. She never robbed anybody. She never killed anybody. She never did drugs. She never drank. She was a wholesome Christian woman who raised her kids the best of her abilities. And my mother dealt with a lot of child abuse and a lot of mental hangups if you knew her life, would think, how did this woman survive raising 6 kids? And none of her kids are rapists, serial killers, drug dealers, even do drugs, or nothing. We don't do none of that. So I'm here to say that the silly mistakes we made, taking little things here and there, we were silly. Don't get me wrong, but I made those cognitive decisions on my own. It had nothing to do with me being raised with a single mother. I made dumb decisions because of things I wanted that had nothing to do with my mother, and it had all to do with me as just being silly. But my mother took very good care of us. My mother would walk miles to feed us. I'm talking miles. People knew her in the neighborhood. They call her the walking woman because they knew that woman was going to get up bright and early. And if she didn't have my mother was from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and she came to New York when she was 7, and she worked, but she didn't have a lot of skills, and she didn't have the best education. And she got back into school a little bit, and she tried to best. When I say this woman busted behind for her kids, and she still will. My mother still will. So stop being out here, disrespecting these single mothers, because they're survivors too. They took a lick and kept on ticking. Yeah, they made a mistake and they had bad judgment. My mother only had 2 baby fathers, with my older brother, and then my mother had 6 other children by my father. Now, was he the best person to have kids with? No. He wasn't. But she said, you know what? I made my mistake. I lied in my bed. I made my bed. Now I lie in it. She did not give up responsibility. She didn't abort her children. She didn't try to even take my father up for child support. She didn't do anything. She did it all on her own. All on her own. And she deserves to be rewarded. That's why I take care of my mother. That's why I love my mother, because at the end of the day, my mother busted her behind for me. She didn't just give up. She had to get government assistance because she didn't have somebody there to fully take care of her kids. So what? It was a step up. And to this day, I want and I desire to have, because my mother was resilient. So she couldn't give me everything name brand shoes, nor did I care about that stuff anyway. But she gave me hope. She gave me peace. She gave me a sense of belonging to. She gave me love. She showed me that love may not always come verbally, but you can definitely see it physically. So, and it let me know there is a God who watches over us, because all the things my mother went through, we could have been crackheads. We could have been anything, but God didn't have that in his plan for us. He watched over and protected us. And through my mother's prayers and our prayers, we grew up and we were able to steer the right way, even if it took some time. And now we doing what we need to do and being where we need to be, and we're being successful in it. So stop blaming these single mothers. They don't go into it thinking I'm gonna be a single mother. Understand that. If all what I said just made sense.
I come from that particular neighborhood.
Yes.
Shout out to Del Paso Heights. Where does everybody in Sacramento live? Fair Oaks.
What is
Granite
crime
Bay.
though?
Gunshots, please, Adam. On this.
But you have to understand, what does that have to do with single mother? Because single mothers did not peddle gang violence into the Negro community. Single mothers also weren't the ones who peddled drugs in our community. So you're talking about situations that single mothers did not create. Actually, white America placed that in our community. So why are we blaming Negro mothers for what white society put in our communities? And because not we, God forbid, I break bound and rebuke that, but as a single mother, she didn't have the wherewithal to be able to stop her child from getting into that. Well, you young men could listen to your mothers. Just because they're not men don't mean they're not valid to respect. You could have took that as an opportunity to say, I'm gonna stay in school. I'm gonna stay in school. I'm gonna stay in school. I'm gonna do what I have to do to make sure. Every mother don't have the ability to get up and move from these bad neighborhoods. If you think that your mothers did not want to move out of these neighborhoods, you're wrong. They just didn't have the money. Maybe they didn't even have the drive, because just like you, they are people. They get beaten down by life too. So have some type of understanding that they get beaten down too, and that they're human, and that you guys may need to start looking at your parents the way I see my mother as human. She gets on my nerves, but she's human. And when you realize they're human and that they're flawed, you'll stop blaming them for things, because you realize that in your own mind, you being a human, and you'll see yourself making the same mistakes in your life and if you have children, with your children, So you have to realize, have grace with your parents. That's why the Bible say when your parents get into their old age, and I have to teach myself this, because I'm not always graceful with my mom either. But you have to have grace and give grace to them, because they're human. These mothers are not superhuman. Some of them are broken too. Even the fathers, forgive your father, have grace, have grace with them. I'm not just here to, I'm not here to male bash or bash Negro men. I love Negro men. I just want you to see it from another perspective, so that you're not wandering around here pointing the blame only at the women. Both of us are at fault. I don't care the situation. You both are negligently having sex, and you're producing offspring that you or the woman may not want to take care of, right? So you have to realize that is the situation. I think to solve this, parents not wanting to be parents, whether it's father or mother, we should start opening up boarding schools. This will cut down on some of the abuse that children are facing. Boarding schools, such as kind of like how I like Asia, the way they do it, but even opening up boarding schools for children who parents don't necessarily want them, and build a community around it where these children feel protected and they have somewhere to come back to. First of all, you build a community in the structure of that boarding school where the children have somebody to rely on every day and talk to about their problem, have therapy there, but also, expectations held over them. This is what you have to achieve to be, in society. Open up trade schools within that boarding school to close the wealth gap. Teach these children, how to be plumbers, plant and garden. This is what needs to be talked about in our community, not whether you should date a fat woman or a skinny woman or a baby mama. Those are closed-minded conversations. Love who you love and stop telling other people who they should love. What needs to be spoken about in our community is how do we fix this single parenthood type of mind frame. What we need to do is understand that maybe we need to stop worrying about so much as courtship and compatibility and the way we are giving out resumes for jobs. We need to do that with relationships. No cut and paste. Literally, I give you my resume of what I'm looking for, what my desires are, where I want to be, where I see myself in 5 years. And if you and I have a compatible resume, we should court each other, get to know each other. If it works out, it works out. This is the solution to close this marriage gap. Get married. Under no circumstance should we ever be talking about dating, just staying dating and situationships anymore. The goal is to get married and stay married. This is the things that need to go on in the Negro community. Period. These are the solutions that need to happen. I don't believe in, I know this is long, bear with me. I don't believe that we should, no longer just, have premarital sex and everybody try to be single and da-da-da. I think you should work on you to work on a situation to be married. Period. Let's stop this madness. Bring back monogamy, bring back marriage in our community. This is what needs to happen, and this is how. We need to bring back etiquette classes for men and women. We need to, whether it's online or in person, we need classes for both men and women to learn trades so that we can make ourselves marketable. If you don't have a job and you're a man or a woman who don't like the idea of being broke and you want a relationship and you want to weigh your options, well, here's how you grow yourself to be, and stop worrying so much about just financial or looks, because all things can happen in life where both things go away or can go away. So what you work on is, what can I do? Who are we compatible? Can we get together? Can he lead? Can she follow? If circumstances is happening to our family, can we navigate through it together? So we need to work on unity in our relationship, togetherness. We did this separate stuff that we're trying to do. It's not working. Us being shallow and shallow-minded, it is not working. It's not working. It's not working. So we need to try something else. Kevin Samuels daily wrap-up crew, fresh and fit, mediocre tutorials, Bell, Alpha, Beta, Bell, whatever, Tanya, TKO, Nanny, all these different texts. They don't got the solution. The solution is marriage. We got to bring back monogamy. We got to bring back, and first and foremost, we got to bring God back into our relationships. We got to bring prayer back into it. We need our own schools. We need our own systems. We need our own traditions and cultures. This is what needs to happen. We need to, for all these single women and men who cannot financially take care of their children, we need to open up boarding schools / orphanages to take care of these children and make them safe and bring them up in a world where they feel like they are in a community. My niece is in a school right now where they consider their teachers their second parents. They even say, this is my school mother. And I love the atmosphere that she has, and she feels so good in it. Her grades are better. She feels love. The children feel love, and it's predominantly Negro teachers. We need to bring that back. That is what we need to be doing. We need to be opening up boarding schools, and for all the parents, if you are a mother who, and the reason why we should open it up, because if you are a mother who not financially, it's not, you got several kids and you don't have the finances to support them all. It's not that you don't love your kids, but you want the best for them. Here's these boarding schools. You place them here. We teach them, we grow them up. You can visit your children, talk with your children, whatever with your children. Don't out of sight and out of mind them. Be present with them. But if you are the type of person, if you're just negligent, this truth, they'd be like, you're pacifying them. It's not pacifying them. Our children is our future and they must be treated as such, period. Make our kids the priority, because that's what we need. Our children are our priority, and instead of letting them succumb to being in street gangs and all this stuff, we put them in these boarding schools where we can teach them to be high in society. That's what I get from Asia. That's what I like what they do with their children. They don't leave them to be riddled in gangs. We leave our children to the wayside. We cannot do this anymore. We need to open up boarding schools where we're able to say, no, you'll wear this uniform. Yes, you'll have free time. You'll have everything. It's like being at home with your mother, but you have authority. You have structure. And this is not to make you in prison or nothing. It's so that you understand in life, even when you're an entrepreneur, you have to be able to manage your time and have discipline. And without those things, you'll be all over the place and you will fall. So this is why structure is implemented. Make them understand that children, if you let them know early and make them understand early what they need to do in society, they will live up to that. You understand me? Have expectation, but don't overdo it. Don't push them to the point where you break them down. Meet them halfway. Have expectations for them, but I don't know the word for it, but don't push your dreams onto them. See where they're good and help them see what field they're a field that they're good in, and that's what you delve in, period. I'm not a mother. I'm just saying what I needed as a child, and that I would have succeeded before my 30s. In a different way had I been pushed earlier in life. So I do think we need to bring boarding schools in. We need to implement boarding schools and clean, fresh, good food, good staff members, boarding schools that these children can be in these boarding schools from 1 to till they go into college age, and from college age we send them into the HSBCUs that needs to be fixed up. We've put more funding to fix up these dormitories and get better teachers and better staff in there, that they're not ripping people off, or open up your own HSBCU or whatever, college where you're teaching Negro children the truth about history, true math and science, true biology, true stuff. This is how we break these generational curses. Teach them about God and how much he loves them. Bring God back into the school. Stop asking white America to bring God back into, create the schools and bring God back into them. This is how we change our society. You don't ask, we do. Then if they want to know, we ain't got to tell them. This is how our community needs to get back up and revive. Stop worrying about whether she got a fat butt and look good for your friend. Stop worrying about if he makes 6 figures. If he works is enough. If the man is working and he's willing to, ask him where he sees himself. Like I said, put out these resumes. We need to start resumeing for relationships. No, what are you looking for? Men, if y'all all worried about marriage, women, if y'all all worried about marriage, then do it with a purpose. Just stop having casual sex. If that stops, then we could focus on marriage. Getting our numbers up. Yes, getting our numbers up. Having those resumes out. Well, this is what I'm looking for. If you're a man and your resume say that I just want casual sex, one night stand, then you go where people are accepting of that. But if you are a man that is looking for commitment in relationships because you are willing to, you're ready to build generational wealth with somebody, you're ready to have a community, you're ready to have a partner that is going to stick beside you and follow you, then that's when you say, all right, I want marriage. So here's my resume. Here's what I bring to the table. Woman, you do the same. Let's date. If it does not work out, pass your resume on. That's it. You pass your resume on. You see if you are compatible. If the compatibility lines up and she meets your requirement, however she meets your requirement, because you guys can't just keep on talking about physicality. That's gonna fade. Beauty fades. Get on. We need to not worry about these things. That is stupid. That is senseless. Weight can be lost. Beauty fades. So those two things need not be a game changer anymore because they weren't prior to this Kevin Samuels movement. Let's keep it 100. Negro men did not care about weight. And please don't give me that Negro men always. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. We know that when we used to watch shows like Living Single with Queen Latifah and I forgot her cousin, we were getting married whether we was wide and all outside. It did not matter. Not every man like a big woman, but they don't. That's if you don't prefer her, don't date her. It's silliness. Chocolate was celebrated. There wasn't serious. It was probably colorism then, but it wasn't so deep to the point where you got them being ostracized. Let's cut out all this shit and let's cut out the following people who peddle this stuff into our community. All the rappers and musicians and the actors and the singers who peddle this, cancel their ass. I believe in cancel culture to the umpteenth degree when it is hurting your community. Cancel their ass like Sierra got canceled when she made that single independent woman song. Cancel they ass. I'm so tired of these Negroes peddling stuff in our community that does not benefit us. Cancel they ass. Stop buying their records. Stop listening to their music. Make them obsolete. All right, I'm done. This was a 40-minute video. I hope you got something out of this video. I'm sorry for cursing. If I curse, please forgive me. Make sure you like, share, subscribe subscribe to my channel and share my videos, please. Have at it, y'all. Y'all know how to share that. Do that thing. I don't ask for much. Just share it because it's not about the views. It's not about getting my algorithm up. I don't care about that. I just want people to talk about these things that we need in our community. That's why I say have at it and share these videos. It ain't for naught. It's not for benefit. It's just merely that we need to do. I just want to come up with a solution to do something better for our community. So stay blessed. Put God first. Pray about it. If you think about it, pray about it. If you feel bad about it, pray about it. If you feel good about it, pray about it if it's good or bad. That's my message to anybody and to everybody. Keep God first and God bless y'all. I love y'all. Bye.